The luxury market for condos is actually pretty interesting right now. This is your host, Ron Wojciechowski, for the Black Hole of Real Estate. And while not everyone is looking for a luxury condo, I think we like the idea of glancing them and noticing them and looking at the pictures and the videos and dreaming that maybe that luxury condo on the beach overlooking the ocean, maybe it's in reach this year. And for some, I think it's going to be. And different than the past few years, we see in the market this year that it's been a bit soft in that area. If you think about it, as residential homes continue to sell, although at a slower pace, it's something that's more in line with owner occupancy. People move from homes into homes based on school years and things like this, and getting married and getting divorced and all those other things that happen along the way where they're changing their primary residence. And the condo tends to be something who's a little further on in years, maybe a retiree, maybe a second home, and it's not always the front line for them of importance when it comes to making home purchases or condo purchases. So as the market is moving along and rising steadily, despite what others might have thought, home prices have kept up pretty good. Have actually increased about 3% this year. But the condo market, now this has been different because not everybody needs a condo. And if you're going to buy one for owner occupancy, I think that's moving along. But second home, it's quieter. And on the investment side as well, because travel is down, the rentals are down. Not everyone wants to buy in a condo building with the thought of special assessments or the increases in the HOA fees that they experience every month or every quarter or every year. Those have gone up. And layer in a special assessment if they have to take care of something in the building. There's a little bit of inherent risk right now. So the condo market absolutely has been softer, if you will, than the housing market. And I expect it to continue for a little bit, but there is some pent-up energy there. We've had a very good year selling condos, and I can speak from this from personal experience, but we haven't sold every single one of them. And that's no different than any other year. There's going to be some properties, whether it's the location, the condition, the price, something maybe a little bit out of alignment where sometimes they just don't sell. It could just be those are all okay, but perhaps the homeowners association risks are just a little more than people want to tolerate. If there's a worry of a SIRS report or a special assessment, that would be it. Or a balcony project where you can't use your balcony for an extended length of time, or maybe the pool is just not available because it's under reconstruction. That would stop any condo from being actively sought after by most buyers. But we also run into a situation where a condo lingers on the market and it doesn't sell, and there's a price that buyers will pay that the owners are not ready to accept. And I believe that's the biggest change, because let's face it, if you've had a condo and historically they've sold for a bunch of money, and in the last year or two, well, they sold for less, if they sell at all. Some buildings are showing zero sales for the whole year because of this hesitancy. And a deal only happens if a condo owner is willing to sell a price that's in alignment with today's market, and then you have to have a buyer for that. Interestingly enough, we've had on some of our listings offers come in the first week or so that were below what the owner wanted at that time, and certainly below the listing price. But as time has marched forward, what we have found is, hey, is that buyer from the first week still available? Because we definitely consider their price right now. Well, in all likelihood, that buyer found something else to buy, and they're long gone, and now you've been stagnant on the market for a long, long time. And there are times where we wish we accepted an offer early on, because that number becomes a little more accessible and acceptable both over time. See, accessible to your mind space. And if you're listed at, say, $700,000 and the offer comes in at $550 or $600, well, there's a lot of people be offended by that. Maybe they don't make a counter offer. But then as things change, you're more willing to look at any offer after 3 or 6 months. And all of a sudden, a $600,000 offer might be a starting point, or it could be an ending point. Like, hey, listen, we were a little overly optimistic. that offer's out there for $600, we could take that, reallocate that $600,000 into something else, and they have to hope that the buyer is still there for that. So if you're a seller and you're struggling to sell this year, like so many in the condo market, I might have you take a look at your price positioning and ask yourself, is there a price that makes sense in this market today that will give you the cash to reallocate some other place, or take away the monthly fees, take away the risk of special assessments? And then is there a buyer to match that expectation? Hope that it's still there for you. And for many people, what they're doing is they're taking the condos and repricing them and restaging and remarketing to get some more interest in it, and then go back and call everybody that was in there to see it, or maybe was thinking of looking at it, and try to round them all up one more time to see if they can get an acceptable offer on it that makes sense to the buyer too, because that has to be a piece of the equation. It's got to make sense to the seller. It also has to make sense to the buyer, and it, in a lot of areas, has not happened so far this year. There's still time, because at the end of the year, we know things can absolutely happen, especially it's snowbird season, tax season, as far as closing out December 31st deadlines on either side, where you've got to buy something or sell something for tax purposes. There is a 60-day window where a lot can happen, and I suspect that it will. The other side is a number of people just decided, you know what, this is not the time to sell for me, and they're looking towards long-term rentals, some short-term rentals, but just renting it out for another year, or just using it until the market is a little bit more in tune with what they're looking for. I'm going to give you a little secret right now. If you're selling your condo right now and you're hoping to buy something, if you're selling it at a price that maybe makes you want to be a little squeamish, there's a chance that you could buy one for a price that might make the other owner, the seller, the one you want to buy, might make them a little squeamish. And if you wait until the price of your condo goes up to a price that you like, then the one that you want to buy, that price probably went up too. So it could be a zero-sum game for all the anxiety that's along with it. Quite honestly, some people just are not prepared to sell for a price that makes them feel like they took a loss. And if you had a condo purchase at $500 and maybe you put $100 into it and you got $600 into it, you want all $600 back, but maybe $550 is good enough, because it lets you put that money towards something else, because you got years and years of enjoyment out of it. And there's others like, we'll just tell you flat to your face, I've never lost a penny on any piece of real estate that I've ever bought. I'm not going to lose a penny today. And what's odd is that sometimes taking a little bit less than the purchase price and accepting a small amount of loss, if that's what you want to call it, gets you out of $1,000 a month monthly fees, gets you out of taxes, gets you out of insurance and risk of special assessment. And by the way, is your condo going to go up as fast as your Vanguard fund? Because some of those funds are doing really well in the market with the stock market surging. You might be able to make up the difference by just going into a different investment vehicle and removing all of the loss as far as fees and taxes and HOA stuff. It's a lot to think about, but the luxury condo market right now, it's in a really interesting place, and I suspect that it will start to pick up between now and the end of the year for the reasons I mentioned about tax purposes, but also money's getting cheaper next week. The Fed meeting's going to kick in, and if you're financing, rates will likely be lower at the next Fed meeting, October 28th and 29th, and then again December 9th and 10th. So there is a reason to look on the horizon and say condo sales are likely to pick up between now and the end of the year. So if you're in the luxury market and you're a buyer, it's a really good window of opportunity. Maybe you get the best possible price. We've been talking about this for years to come. And if you're a seller, it might be the chance to get a little more aggressive and get your condo sold. Look forward to talking with you guys again about all things real estate. This is your host, Ron Wojciechowski for the Black Hole of Real Estate.